The world's been talking about Khabib Nurmagomedov and his decision to retire afterwards, and then you mentioned to CBS Sports that you've been in contact with him, and you do think that there is a possibility he comes back and does 30-0 that his father wanted. What has he said to you that makes you think?
So he was super emotional after that fight, and you know, he got the measles, the mumps, whatever he got. Then he broke his toe leading into that fight. Took the fight, and the passing of his father. I just think he was super emotional in the moment that night, and I'm not saying he's going to 100% come out for 30, but I get the feeling that he will.
So in terms of running your business, does he remain your lightweight champion? He is the lightweight champion.
Yeah,
still?
he's the lightweight champion right now.
Okay, so you're not looking for that. There's no vacant belt to fill.
No vacant belt.
Okay, so all of these, because you got some fun fights coming up in lightweight. None of them you've really announced, but we shouldn't expect anything like an interim title or anything like that. It'll be
no interim title, no vacant title, none of that.
Okay, if Khabib does come back and wants to do 30-0, which would make a whole lot of people happy, what criteria, what would you want to see in a final fight to try and get him to that mark that he wanted and his father wanted?
No clue yet. No clue yet.
Yep. Any update on Conor McGregor and Dustin Poirier? Is their contract signed? Any update in the negotiations for that
I
fight?
believe it is. I believe the deal's done, yeah.
It's done. Done deal.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you know where it'll be at?
Not yet.
So now we're gonna try to see what happens with, you know, the lightweight. Like the whole week we're deciding, okay, is it gonna be a tournament? Is it gonna be this? Meanwhile, they're like, yeah, you can take all the time you want. We respect you. We respect your decision. We hope that you come back. And here we have Conor and Poirier getting ready to fight. And Conor says 155, so that is good news. Although Dana White told the media he thinks it's done. DC, I'm here to tell you, it's not done. It's not signed. There are no bout agreements. I wonder if I think you said it last week. If I'm Poirier, I'm starting to get a little bit nervous. They try to pull the switcheroo and do Conor versus Gaethje, right? And make that a #1 contender fight, or even an interim title fight, right? Because you said yes.
Could you imagine though? Could you imagine if McGregor gets a hold of the interim championship and now you go to Khabib and go, hey, you know, October, Abu Dhabi, you McGregor again.
Oh God.
Whole loads of money. Because now if you're Khabib, right, and you walked away, you could say, I want more. There's a good chance you'll probably get more, you know, because that's a home run. It's a home run, you and McGregor. So I don't know. I don't know. But if anybody gets, and I'm starting to get worried about that, because if you do the switcheroo, last week I put Conor out. But if you're Dustin, you're starting to get a little bit worried.
I think a lot of people forgot the fact that the reason why Poirier versus Ferguson didn't happen was because Poirier wanted a bump. And then when the Conor thing materialized, like I said, he on Twitter, he was very eager. But what happens when they call him behind the scenes? They were still not calling him, right? And they say, yo, are you in? He's still going to want a bump. You know what I mean? Like it's the stance hasn't changed. We're talking about a month later. If they have Gaethje ready to go, let's be honest, Conor's the draw here, right? I'd love to see Poirier Conor. I hope they make that fight. Poirier deserves it. But if you have Gaethje in the background, right, ready to go
too.
You put him in there.
Ready to go.
He doesn't have the leverage that he thinks he has potentially, and that's the problem.
I just think that as a fighter, you can't negotiate your way out of these fights.
Right.
And I don't know. I don't know if maybe Dustin and Conor in the UFC have already started to come to terms in terms of money. I don't know how far along they are in the process, but Dustin may have gotten what he wants already. You don't know. We don't know that. So we have to wait and see what materializes. But here's the deal. My boy in Lafayette, I would start calling the UFC and starting to try to get some answers in terms of how and where do we get where we're trying to go. Because you want to be in that fight come January. You want to be the guy standing opposed McGregor in January. If you're him, if you're Gaethje, if you're Ferguson, it don't matter who it is at 155, you want to be on that opposite side, because the reality is this. If there is going to be a stripping of Nurmagomedov and putting the championship on the line, it's probably going to involve McGregor, even though I do believe it should be Dustin versus Justin.
I will also say this. I think Conor wants it to be Poirier. I think there's a lot of personal bad blood between him and Gaethje. Remember, Gaethje said some things about him as a dad and stuff. It got really kind of ugly between them. So I wonder if that's something in Poirier's favor if McGregor's saying, no, I'm only coming back to fight this guy, then the UFC will have to figure out how to make that deal.
Talking to Uriah Hall coming off his win last Saturday against Anderson Silva. Look, we played the audio of Dana White post press conference talking about the fight itself, and it was weird because he almost spent as much time trashing the fight and your performance as he does talking about Anderson Silva. Oh, there was only 11 punches in the second round, and Uriah Hall's gun shy. And I kept thinking to myself as I'm listening to Dana White talk, like, dude, Uriah won the fight by knockout. He did exactly what he was supposed to do when he was supposed to do it. Is it frustrating, as you said, having a performance like that where it took you a little while to warm up, and then you finally got him, and yet people are critical of that performance, man? How does that feel to hear that?
It's life. I mean, someone's opinion of you should never become your reality. There are people out there are consistently going to wait for me to fail or going to want to see me fail. That's their purpose. That's their job, and that's fine. I don't mind being hated, man. I don't mind being disliked. I have the courage to be disliked. There's 7.8 billion people on this planet. You think everyone's going to like you? Like, you don't even like everybody. So why would I give a fuck about someone's opinion? Yeah, he's the boss, but he's entitled to his opinion. Maybe it's from a business standpoint for him to think I should have went out there and produced more to get more of a viewing. Maybe he's more upset the fact that he didn't want Anderson to fight. I couldn't give a shit what he would say or think. Not in there with me at that given time. He just pays me to f motherfuckers up. So he's entitled to his opinion. Obviously, he's the boss. There's only so much leverage I have, but I have no problem with it. I have nothing bad to say.
And then on Saturday after the fights, he comes out and pretty much announces that Izzy's going to be moving up to 205 to fight Jan Blachowicz. And he says about you, his direct quote, "I'm going to have to sit down with Adesanya and convince him to fight why he needs to fight Whitaker." Whitaker comes out and says he doesn't want to fight him. The craziest shit I've ever heard. Yeah, there's no arguing with Izzy. I thought Whitaker deserved the shot, but Whitaker said he doesn't want it. I've watched every interview you've done, and I watched the post-fight. And I know you never said you didn't want the fight. You just said, I'm not going to beg for it, and I'm not going to go out there and push for it. When you heard Dana's comments, what'd you make of those?
Yeah, I certainly think he took a little twist to what I said. I never said I don't want to fight Izzy. That's not something I said. That's and as you just said, like, you've been across the interviews and whatnot. I did not say that. I'm looking to fight March, April next year. That's what I'm looking for. I would like to fight Izzy. If Izzy's moving up to fight Jan, then I'll move up and fight him there. If he gets to win, I'm very I want that fight. I do want that fight. It's just we had to just work it into the timeline, which is that March, April next year sort of timeline. I have no control on what the UFC is going to do or what Izzy's going to do, but whether he's here at middleweight or at light heavyweight, I'll take the fight to him.